Good Sunday evening, everyone. This is Mitch with SC Weather. Hope y'all been having a great weekend. It seems like it just started, but it's over now, so we're about to get ready for the work week, and it looks like it's going to be an active week weather-wise across the southern tier of the country. Talking about the Deep South, Dixie Valley, the Southeast, the potential of the Mid-Atlantic, maybe even the Ohio Valley. So we're going to talk about that. Some things have changed a little bit as far as might be a little bit better for folks and might be a little bit worse for some areas. But we're still a little far out, so it's really hard to know if anything's set in stone at this point. We're getting closer and closer to the short-range models, so we'll have more and more of an idea of who's going to get the worst weather as we get mid to late week this week. So we're talking about the potential for severe weather, tornadoes, hail threats, supercells. So we're going to talk about all that. If you guys have not subscribed, definitely consider doing that. I cover weather here in the Southeast and the Eastern U.S., and I love talking about my passion with you guys and talking weather with you all. Also, if you have anything that I can pray about or anything that anybody else can pray about, please leave it in the comments. It's an opportunity for me to put you on my prayers tonight and for other people to put your prayers and their prayers tonight. So if it's unspoken, just say that, and I would love an opportunity to pray for you guys. The more people praying, the better. Prayer is powerful. So we're going to get deep into this. We're going to talk about kind of the updates on what we know today. Like the video, guys. If y'all do, it helps with the algorithm, and it really helps to get this video out there. So definitely appreciate all the awesome support. So we're going to look at the GFS. So we're going to start off here, and what we got going on. We've had some clouds, depending on where you are in the southeast or along Georgia, and some heavy rain this morning in South Carolina and North Carolina. Because of a low pressure that started developing off the coast. It's going to scoot northeast and get on out of here. And we're going to start a beautiful week across the eastern U.S. just in general. But this is going to be a storm. It's probably going to pop off some rain, some storms, the deep south. But that's not really the big threat. The big threat is here. You have something digging right here. A piece of energy really digging here. And you're going to have a low pressure develop right here. And there's going to be some kind of big weather maker right here. And it looks like it's been trending slower, and it looks like the low pressure wants to go on and jet on over now the western Ohio Valley, basically parts of the Midwest now, meaning for right now, maybe the potential for the worst weather could be maybe still in Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, eastern Texas, Arkansas, maybe even a little further north. Heavy rain, storms, potential for tornadoes, and still the potential has not went away for a severe weather outbreak. One thing that I'm very surprised is that the Storm Prediction Center did not pull the trigger on the 15% risk. I think they are still looking at the idea that there's a potential that this could be a messy setup instead of more of an isolated supercell setup, but we don't know that yet. But I'm saying it now, this definitely has the potential to be a little bit more messy. Messy as in more clusters of storms. This would not be a better one to chase, maybe. But it's hard to know anything like that in details on how the storms are going to look. The storm system moves on, and you notice you have some kind of activity here in the southeast too, in Georgia and the Carolinas, but I think you're going to lack forcing, and basically meaning you're going to lack energy to really get storms firing up. And it's because this low pressure's kicking off way up here and it digged way over here. And basically you lose some of that energy. But you have to watch out right after the storm too. We're not going to talk about that too much because it's really far away. But there might be something else brewing. But check out temperatures. Check out how we begin to warm up. We're getting into Tuesday. We're warming up. I think we'll get better than the 50s and 60s. But, you got 60s and 70s for highs as you get into Wednesday. I think it'll be a nice spring-like week, especially when you get late in this week. I know a lot of people, we're starting to get later in March. I wonder if they can plant or not. I wouldn't plant unless you're in Florida, to be honest. You could have an Arctic air mass come out of nowhere in late March to early April and just ruin all your planting. It happens all the time. Seems like it happens at least every other year. Or like 1 out of every 3 years. So don't plant, guys. I'm telling y'all. We even had a snow a couple Aprils ago where it dropped a few inches of snow here in the upstate of South Carolina. So I'm telling you guys, do not plant yet, even though it's going to get very warm at the end of this week. So, as you can tell, it looks like a much warmer weekend this coming weekend than maybe this weekend. But we're going to jump over to weathermodels.com, and what I'm going to show you here, and bear with me, I'm going to try to get this a little bit closer for us here. And basically this is what you got wind speeds at basically in the mid levels of the atmosphere. So this is what it's going to kind of show you and what we got going here. It shows something digging right here over eastern Texas. Now, I'm sorry, no, this is the system coming. This is the digging. It's digging really good, and you have basically the jet stream dipping right here, so you're going to get some kind of low pressure to develop right here. And this is some big time shear developing right here, and it really screams over areas of Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas. You're definitely going to have some energy for storms. You're basically going to have a warm sector that really develops. And you're going to hear me talk about this a lot, and you already have over the last week or so, talking about severe weather. When you get a warm sector, you basically get some kind of cold front that develops here, and you get a warm front that rides north ahead of it. And when you get in that sector, so you basically got the cold front, and you have the sector riding as the cold front's going, whoever's in this area right here is getting warm, moist, humid air, and that's a component you need for severe weather. So that looks to set up here, but the main energy looks to shoot off through here. So it leaves the Carolinas like, okay, are we going to have energy? Are we going to have components basically to come together for severe weather? Because it digs so far out west and it's slowed down so much, you have the big piece of the energy here really digging way out west as opposed to digging right here like it did in the last system. So that makes a big difference as far as where the most severe weather is going to be. Now, as we get going to the next screen here, it kind of shows you a good idea as far as precipitation and where it is. You get through that system, and then we get into Thursday, and here it goes. This looks like a mess right here. We're obviously not in short-range modeling, so we're just going to see blobs of green. But that's where, if we're going to have any severe weather, it's really wanting to show it over Mississippi, parts of Alabama and Louisiana, and potentially Arkansas. And this isn't just storms. This looks like a lot of moisture. It's pulling a lot of Gulf moisture into the lower 48, into the deep south. It really has a chance to be a big-time storm. Eventually gets into the Carolinas, but in the form of what? Is it going to just be in the form of some showers, or is it going to be storms? What is it going to be? Well, it all depends on kind of how much this dips and how far west it dips. Now, there's other things that kind of play into this too, but that is definitely a big part of this. So this is basically lightning flash density. So it's basically showing where a lot of lightning is. And I want to show you this because, and it's going to be hard to see on your screen, because it really shows you where the core of the storms is. And it's showing it right over Louisiana, Mississippi. And you notice it doesn't really go much further east with this system. Now, another system fires up later, and you get different areas of lightning. But you notice it shows a lot of energy over Louisiana and Mississippi. So this might be right now, and this could change. But this might be something that is a little bit more further west now than maybe the last system. But guys, nothing's set in stone for sure. But Alabama is still, I'm not leaving you out of the conversation because there's definitely for sure going to be there. But Wednesday, check out the Cape, the storm convective energy developing over eastern Tennessee. It's really a big bullseye right here as a warm sector, a warm front really kicks in ahead of this cold front, and then the cold front gets moving, which is basically the dip in the jet stream dipping here, and a low pressure firing up right in here. And you basically get a sector right here of conditions that are favorable for storms. Tornadic storms, we're not sure, but and then it kind of dwindles away as it gets into the Carolinas and flattens out. And, you know, when it starts to flatten out, you start to really lose the shear, because you start to flatten out, basically you're getting wind speeds that are in the same direction as the front moving through. So you're not getting two conflicting wind speeds in the upper atmosphere that really can cause a spin in the atmosphere. So, you know, and I'm going to show you right here, this is basically going to be your dew points, but I'm going to show you from a bigger aspect here. So here it is. Here you're getting into Thursday right here, and that's your warm sector right here. These are dew points, but check out, it's got dew points in the 60s and 70s in Louisiana, and this is a sharp cold front. You know, it's not nothing ridiculous cold, but it's just more stable, dry air. And look at the warm sector, a warm front, or just a more moist air riding all the way into the Ohio Valley. So that leaves the door open a little bit for areas in Ohio Valley for maybe severe weather. But it flattens out here, and the stable air really never goes all the way through into the Carolinas, and then it fires back up again, and then you get deeper push of cooler air that works all the way through the southeast. So that really does a good idea of showing the warm sector right here in the higher dew points. Higher dew points is higher humidity, it's more moist air, and it normally symbolizes a more higher severe weather threat. So I want to show you this too, because the EPS ensembles as far as rainfall. We're not talking about snow, so we can say rainfall here. What I want to show you this is I'm going to run it all the way through this weekend, so about Saturday morning. You know, we talking about severe weather, yeah, sure, and tornadoes, but there really is a chance or somewhere in this area right here in Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, whatever really heavy moisture as far as storms, torrential downpours gets going off the coast, we have a chance for flooding too. Not just severe weather and supercells, and tornadic storms, but flooding. So you guys in Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, maybe even Tennessee, definitely keep your eyes peeled on this too, because this could be a really big flooding setup that sets up here, especially having more of a cluster of storms that really get out the Gulf and can dump a lot of heavy rain and train over the same areas. So that's pretty much all I got, guys. I'm going to keep y'all updated. There's a lot to figure out with this. There's actually a little bit more, I would say, inconsistency today than there was been the last 2 days, just because we're not sure where the worst is going to be. So that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I appreciate all y'all, and y'all have a great night.